All right, and welcome to the first edition of we probably had 2025, the first edition of the 2025-2026 Teachers Talking Hoops
Yeah,
basketball podcast. We
yeah,
were delayed a bit, uh, but we're here, and there's been some stuff going on.
yeah. I guess we should start off by shouting out Florida as national champion of last year.
And possibly, and I guess that's not a terrible place to start, right? This idea of Florida winning and coming into the season with high expectations. And I think if you look at some of the rankings here, they're not. Speaking of like KenPom, right? They're 13th in KenPom. What are they sitting in the net right now? I gotta figure out how to
No,
use
the
Levis and
net
Q's best
Florida
computer.
is um all the
18th,
way. Yeah,
18th in the net. So I mean, they're right now they're sitting in 3-4 seed
or they actually
territory.
dropped in the net to 25 now. But yeah,
Oh, did okay.
yeah. So
Um,
couple of struggles.
So yeah, but they're still sitting in, let's say, maybe 4 seed territory,
Hmm.
right? Assuming that they pick up a couple wins in SEC. So the 4 seed territory, which
Hmm.
is not a terrible thing,
Hmm.
but certainly not the expectations that they were believed to have had. And some of it goes, we text a little bit about midseason transfers. But in terms of Florida, like some other teams, Kentucky, although Kentucky did get a big win yesterday, they spent a ton of money in the portal,
Hmm.
and we've talked about Xavier Lee,
Yep.
uh, and they spent a lot of money on him to bring in a high IQ, uh, high percentage, uh, deep range shooter,
Hmm.
and he hasn't really been that. Now he's been much more productive of late over
Hmm.
the last 5 games or so, way more productive.
Hmm.
Um, and I think you mentioned it seems kind of a comfort thing. When they played Duke and the games were kind of leading up to that, it was almost he wasn't afraid, right? He wasn't a guy that was kind of running away from the moment, but I think there was something in the back of his mind kind of saying I'm not hitting my stuff right now, and that was leading to him just not hitting more of his shots. And he seems like he's starting to turn a corner a little bit with that.
Yeah. I mean the all time low was the Duke game where he went 1 for 10. And only finished with 4 points. Um, Now there has been a game also where I mean he said zero, but that was against Merrimack, so didn't really have to
Yep.
play that much. But yeah, slowly starting to come along. Obviously, a different step up from the Ivy League. But also, when he was at Princeton and they played higher competition, he played better. So that was my reasoning for
Yep.
that this is maybe just an adjustment thing is, you know, I think of last year when Princeton played Rutgers when they had Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, and he, I believe, had 30 against a Power 5 team like that. So playing against top competition is no, tall task for Xavier Lee. And I think it's just, obviously a comfort thing. You go to Florida, more pressure's on you. Um, and I'm sure he's getting paid a lot more to be there. So I'm sure he
Mhm.
hears a lot of outside noise along with, uh, pressure and challenges and celebrations from Todd Golden. So it's not easy, but he seems he seems to be on the come up of lately. His last 3 games, he's been averaging pretty around 19 to 20 points, and then around from the shooting from the field around 45 to 50%. So it's looking better, and I think this is exactly what Florida wanted heading in the conference play.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say is like sure, St. Francis, right? He went off against St. Francis, 18 points in 23 minutes, and then George Washington, 24 points in 35 minutes.
Mhm.
Shot much better from the 3-point line against those
Yeah.
teams for sure. But he did go 19, 6-5 with 2
Hmm.
steals against UConn. Now
Yeah.
he can't shoot the 3 against good teams yet. Like he
Hmm.
definitely, and part of that is I'm sure his size to some degree, right? You're
Yep.
going against bigger, stronger guards at these high level. But he's also very good. He's shifty. He can get into the lane.
Right.
And you don't score 19 points and get 6 rebounds and 5 assists against UConn by luck, right? Like
Right.
that. UConn's
Right.
a really good team. They're a physical team,
Hmm.
and if you're putting 19 points up, right? Like I'm not going to play against UConn and just randomly get hot and put 19
Yeah.
points up.
Right.
They're going to
Right.
throw all my shots back at me.
Yeah.
So he's averaging, and granted, against some bad competition, but he's averaging 11 and a half, 5 rebounds, 3.6 assists. And last year he was averaging 17, um, about one more rebound a game and
Hmm.
about 2 more assists a game. But he's playing about 5 minutes less, right? So
Yep.
let's give him 5 minutes more, and maybe he's at 13,
Hmm.
6-4, and he's basically putting up pretty similar stats to what he was
Hmm.
doing last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you put him, and then along with obviously Boogie Fland, who's been having a good season. I think if you can get those two to give a little more support to Alex Condon and Thomas Houck, then I think Florida will be back to where we think they'll be.
And Florida's great, and I always get the wording
Right.
mixed up. I always feel like the front court's the big guys, right?
Yeah.
I always feel like the front court should be like the point
The
guard,
guards
and the
and the
back court should be the big guys. But
yeah.
Florida's front court is great.
Yes, very talented, which confuses me sometimes, like why they would drop games to TCU, have a close game with a Florida State.
Yeah, it's Florida State. I mean, like,
Even the
look what
Providence
UMass did to Florida
was
State.
within 12.
Like
I mean, yeah. I mean, typically UMass they win, two ACC games and then drop their first conference game, and
I know. But to be
um,
fair, the ACC is much improved this year, but Florida State and Boston College are not.
so Boston College just sucks.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they haven't. I mean, I like Earl Grant, but I'm surprised they haven't fired him.
yeah.
Florida State's got some talent, but obviously they're down. But I mean, you look at it from a UMass standpoint, a school with a much bigger budget can pay more to their players, and you got like that's pretty good. So and actually Frank Martin looked happy after the BC game, so something's going
Yeah.
right when that's happening. So
Yeah, it just seems like, I guess there's not much room for UMass talk. Although I guess that could be our niche, because I don't know how many UMass basketball podcasts are out there. Um, but it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back every year, right? Like there's always promising stuff, and you're
yeah,
like, okay, like this is the year they're getting back over the hump, and then they just like
right,
do, because they should be, what are they, like 8-4, maybe something like that.
yeah,
And they dropped 2 games in their
in the
like their
Virgin
kind of
Islands, yeah,
Thanksgiving tournament
hmm
that they should have not lost.
no, and I think they lost also to they lost to somebody early. They lost to Marshall the first game,
Yeah.
which they
Yeah,
probably should
this is
not
a
have.
team that could be, I would, right, you could excuse a Florida State loss if they lost there.
Right.
So like maybe, I don't know how many games they played, but maybe like 9-2 or something like
Yeah.
that, with like a Florida State,
Right.
and I'd rather not lose the opening game in the MAC, but sure, like
Right.
lose those 2 games, and
Sure.
then at least at that point there, maybe UMass is top 140
Yeah.
in the or
It
Eastern Conference. I
yeah,
don't know where they are in the net.
it's just it's so frustrating because they put up 103 points against Florida State and then they can't even put up 60 against Kent State. And
Yeah,
and they put up 76 against BC and then they beat Oregon State and put up 73. It's I don't
and they
know.
were on
I
pace.
don't
It
know.
feels like they were on pace to score way more than 76 against BC, right? Because
Yes.
they were
And that
sort of
that
pulling
was
away
a
from BC, and then kind of just.
Yeah. I think they should be able to win the MAC this year, if not at least make it to the championship game. I don't really think there's any excuse not to just run through that tournament. I mean, the MAC is a good conference, but also it's, UMass where you have bigger facilities, you have a little more spending, you have Frank Martin as your coach. You know that he's not just going to accept, random, I'm not going to say like cast offs, but
Yeah.
like he's going to get good players because he's still a good coach. People want their kids to play for Frank Martin. So there's no reason in my mind why they shouldn't make it to the at least the championship,
Yeah.
if not win it.
Um,
But I was talking to somebody the other day, and that VC and Florida State win that might have saved his job right there. I
yeah.
mean, not to say he was going to be fired at midseason or even that he was going to be fired after this year, but I mean that's a statement right there if you can do that,
Yeah.
especially for UMass who hasn't done that, and I can't even tell you how many years because it's been so long. That those were two really good wins.
So I guess a place to start. Although I don't I don't know how much. I guess it's a good talking point. I think we could look at most impressive team so far. Through about 10 to 12 games.
Hmm.
I think I know who your most impressive team is because I think it's probably most people's impressive team.
Hmm.
Um, but who you got?
I think I know your most impressive team too. too. I mean, my most impressive team right now is Michigan.
Yeah, it's got to be Michigan.
That's mine. I just so they struggled at the beginning of the year a little bit, and people were
Hmm.
like, I don't know what's going on with them. But then they just went into Vegas and rolled. I mean, you
Yeah.
beat Auburn by 30, Gonzaga by 40, Rutgers, sure. It's Rutgers. You beat them by 40 still. But then you turn around and just destroy Villanova, who's actually not bad this year.
Hmm.
And then you turn around like I just they're long, they're great on defense. They just push the ball on offense. And they have depth. They
Yeah.
have obviously their big time transfers. Yaxel Lendenborg has been really great. Cadeau has been great this year, but they're just so tall, and I think that's what throws a lot of teams off. Especially Mark Few too. He said it. I mean, and Gonzaga's no joke either. Gonzaga destroyed Kentucky.
Yeah.
And he said, that's one of the biggest teams that gave us problems in a long time. And I think if Michigan can keep rolling and playing like this, I don't see any reason why they're not at least an Elite Eight Final Four team. Now I know usually what happens with teams like this is that they collapse somehow
Yeah.
mid-season, but I mean, listen, I don't see any reason why this
I mean,
team is gonna be stopped anytime soon. They're playing LaSalle today. That's probably another 30-point win. Then they play McNeese, probably another 30-point win. Not to say the Big Ten's easy, but then after, they don't have another game versus a ranked team until January 27th.
January 27th. Yeah.
And then you have the
Yeah. And that's
Nebraska, and
and
then you
who?
have Michigan State,
Yeah.
and then Purdue, and
Yeah.
then
That's
the
that's
big
a
one
real
against
first.
Duke.
Yeah, I mean their first real difficult game on a paper standpoint is probably January 30th at Michigan State.
Mhm.
Nebraska is playing really well this year,
Right,
but I need to see Nebraska kind of be able to kind of
right,
really
to
prove it,
hang
and with
with them.
that
Yeah.
game being in
Mhm.
Michigan,
Yep.
um, I think the one kind of holdup is, I mean, Michigan is destroying everybody, um, but as you mentioned, they kind of struggling early on, like
Hmm.
1 point over not a good Wake team,
Hmm.
um, 4 points over a TCU team that kind of is hot and cold, but they're also not very good. An
Right.
Auburn team, a big win over an Auburn team who I don't really think is that good.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously destroying
Yeah.
Gonzaga, but um,
Hmm.
you're as you mentioned about Duke, like you're always probably gonna lose a game.
Right.
I think And so it's not surprising that they beat Gonzaga. It's not really surprising that they killed Gonzaga. I mean, it
Hmm.
is, but like you're gonna have an off game. I mean,
Right.
40 is a very off
Yeah,
game.
like yeah, right.
Um,
40, like a lot of people don't expect 40
yeah,
against a well coached team like that.
but I mean, I suppose you look at San Diego State traditionally has been a pretty decent team. So when you look at
Yeah,
the points they're giving up here, right? 63,
right,
61, 54, 72, 61,
right,
60, 61. People just they can't put the ball in the hoop.
right. And then it's
But
like you combine that with the amount of times they scored in triple digits. It's insane.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, you mentioned the transfers. I mean, transfers are huge.
Yeah.
Like I said, they've got that big game with Duke, and it's really kind of a tale of two things here because you've got the transfers with Lendeborg and Cadeau. Cadeau's playing much better,
Hmm.
um, whereas Duke kind of a lot of people like to kind of harp on like the Duke freshman thing, and I did think Dame Sar played much better yesterday, and I don't really know
Yes.
why he didn't get as much time. I think
Yeah.
Shire started to kind of tinker with the lineup a little bit,
Hmm.
but Duke has been besides Cam Boozer, obviously,
Yeah.
fairly heavily dependent on returners.
Hmm.
Between Kale Foster and Isaiah Evans and Malik Brown and Pat Gumba, like
Yeah.
the freshmen are playing for sure. Nick Kamenya's playing, Dami Sar's playing, Caden Boozer had a pretty
Hmm.
nice game yesterday. Um, but this is, I mean, there is no transfers, beyond
Right.
beyond guys that don't play. This is like
Hmm.
a couple key freshmen and something that Duke hasn't done in a while. Like, let's try and build a little bit of culture, build a little bit of continuity.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, by the time that game happens, Michigan's going to be plenty in continuity
Mhm.
because those guys will play
Right.
with each other for almost the whole
Right.
season. But
Yeah.
Um, so I'll mention the Duke thing real quick. My kind of gripe with the commentators on Duke. I thought in the game yesterday, I just thought they got lazy. I thought they stopped. I mean, obviously Texas Tech had to some shots. I thought Duke just they Texas Tech came back. Duke pulled away again, and a really key moment actually was um, someone getting a steal and tossing it up to Malik Brown, and Duke was just so much bigger. He should have jammed it,
Mhm.
and he kind of just awkwardly put it up as like a layup. I think Duke was up by 5. He missed. Uh, Texas Tech came right down, hit a 3 to cut it to 2, and then just kind of snowballs from there. Um, but oh yeah, so I just thought I thought they got lazy a little bit. I thought you have to identify the hot guy, and
Hmm. Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson was obviously he wanted to shoot, right? Like
Right.
when you're making that many shots, you're gonna give yourself a heat check because you're like,
Hmm.
who if we lose the game, we lose the game, so I'm gonna put it up. And
Right.
so you and with Duke being bigger, they had to trust just close out on him. And like he hit a big three for Gumba,
Hmm.
and if you're Pat, just on him, and if he wants to drive by you, just trust that Cam Boozer might block him.
Hmm.
Like you can't let him have any space there. But my big gripe with the announcers is they keep talking about Duke doesn't have a second scorer, and I I think that's unfair. I think to claim that makes it sound like the other guys on the team aren't dependable. And I think it's just Boozer's a star, and the other guys will make the shots when they have to make the shots. And some guy might have a good game, like Isaiah Evans might go for 15, but he might score 4. And Isaiah Evans scoring 4 doesn't necessarily mean that Duke isn't going to win the game.
Hmm.
I don't think Duke needs. It'd be nice, but I don't think they need an established second scorer if Isaiah Evans can truly give them 10 to 12 most games, and Gumba is going to give him 10. And I was there was a big thing for a while, but the point guard battle between Caden and Caleb,
Hmm.
and I look at it every time I look at the box score, I just combine them, and I say, okay, like our point guard gave us
Hmm.
16 points, 8 assists, and 10 rebounds, right? Because
Right.
that's what it is, right? If
Hmm.
they're switching out, it doesn't matter who gets the points. You just put them
Right.
together, and that's what you got from the point guard position.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, my one worry with Duke is, obviously if they play someone who just, you know, can take Cam Boozer out of the game, my one worry is who's going to be the next person to step up and support them. Because I mean, there's been a couple games where Cam Boozer's had to score 30 plus for them to win. I'd like think about the Arkansas game; he had to score a lot to beat them. Michigan State game, that was a good win. He didn't play his best. That win really did show me that they could win without him. My worry is just, as we get closer to March, when teams start to figure him out, it'll be interesting to see if, when they play a Louisville or a North Carolina, when he gets matched up against somebody who, has his length, maybe a little bit more length, is more defensively sound, if they can take him out of that game, and who's going to step up to support. I know you want to say something.
Does Cam Boozer have to score 30, or is he scoring 30? Because the
It
announcers
doesn't
say that
matter.
too.
To beat Arkansas, he had to score 30.
But I don't know if that's true.
I mean, every
Because
single possession they just gave him the ball and cleared out. He was the only one who
yes,
had to score.
because Arkansas couldn't stop him.
Exactly. So he has to score. If he didn't score, they wouldn't have won.
Okay, if you look at, say, a quick look at the box score here. Let me pull this up. Come on.
From yesterday?
All right, quick. No, from the Arkansas game. All right,
Okay.
so Caleb Foster was 5 for 10 in the game. Now Isaiah Evans didn't have a great game. Isaiah Evans was only 3 for 10.
I mean, when a dude has
Buffalo was 4 for
35 or
8.
80 points.
Malik Brown was 1 for 1. Caden Boozer
Yep.
was only 0 for 2. Darren Harris didn't take a shot. So
Mhm.
all I'm trying to say is, it's not like the rest of the team is in that Arkansas game is shooting 10%. So that's all I'm trying to argue is that, like, if the rest of the team can't hit the broadside of the barn, and then Cam Boozer puts up
Then yeah,
40,
he has
you're
to
like,
score
okay,
30
we
for them
needed
to
him.
win.
Right.
Right.
But we don't know that. That was the best offense.
Yes, we do. We put up 35 of their 80.
Yeah, but because they couldn't stop him, if they had tried to stop him, what would have happened? He would have kicked it out, and we don't know if anyone would have made a shot.
Okay.
Right?
That game he had to score 30 plus for them to win. If you take away his 35 points, Arkansas wins by 16.
What is he doing? Are we just eliminating his 35? Are we just pretending that he turns it over every time?
All right,
or
so
do the
we'll
other
cut
guys
his
get to shoot in that possession?
we'll cut his 35 to 15. That's it. Not to say that Duke still doesn't win, but it's a totally different game, and it's a closer game.
Okay, but we can't cut to 15 because he hasn't scored 15 points like any game this season.
All right, we'll cut it to 20 then.
I don't think. I think with how good of a passer he is, I think he acknowledges that he doesn't have to play like head down basketball, and I think if teams double him, Duke shot really well yesterday until, like I said, I just think they stopped playing hard, and I think once, similar to that Houston game, I think once they start playing hard, the wave just takes over. Like the other team, like they go on that run and you just can't stop it anymore because Duke was shooting really well.
Okay, I'm. This is what I'm gonna give you, right? He only had 23 points yesterday. They didn't win. The team shot 52% of the field. He went 7 for 11. You take away his makes.
Where do you go from the free throw line?
9 for 14. So still respectable.
Uh, well,
7 for 11. You take that away. The team went 20 for 41. Now, I realize that's sure close, but that's 48%. So he knocks up their shooting percent by about 4.5%.
okay, well, let's take Toppin out.
Okay. He got in foul trouble.
He still had like 20 some odd points.
19 points.
So who wins the game if if take Toppin's points out?
Oh, Duke, 100%.
So I mean, you made an argument like Cam Boozer needs to score just like Caleb Wilson needs to score at North Carolina.
Yeah. Everybody has their guy who needs to score. I'm not just saying for Duke. I'm saying every team, unless you're a really balanced team, which I think Duke is a balanced team. I mean, come on, Cam Boozer's averaging 25 points, but they're not bad. But I just think for Duke to have success, Cam Boozer needs to have 23 to 25 points tonight. Do you agree with me? You at least have to agree with me on that.
That's a bit much. I think he could score. I think he could score 17 to 20, and they'd be okay.
Well, I mean, he had 23 yesterday. All
So
right.
what does John Shire need to do then? Does he need to force to does he need to force Boozer? Does he need to draw plays where Boozer is specifically passing it so the rest of the team can get more actively involved?
I just think for me, I think Isaiah Evans is too inconsistent right now. I I would contemplate putting Dame Sar back in the starting lineup because it's just another he's another threat that could free up space for Boozer. Not to say that he's a great shooter or anything, but I mean, you know, he went 3 for 6 from three. Like,
Yep. Who's better, Jay?
doesn't matter if he's not a great shooter. You space a guy out like that, it just gives you more room.
Yeah.
Versus you put a
Who's
guy like Caleb Foster out there who's not the.
hey hey hey
I,
hey?
I, I, I,
We're about to move on from Duke. I will not take Caleb Foster slander.
Listen, I understand he went 2 for 4 yesterday, but I mean, like, dude's a 50% free throw shooter as a guard.
That's bad. Yes, yes, yes. But the team itself shot about 50% from the free throw line yesterday, which is why they lost the game. But
Sure, but listen, his 3 point percentage isn't great. I'm just gonna say that.
it's way better. He's trending big time in the right direction.
I know, but uh, it it's not it's
I think what's happening with Foster is there's a bit of an
it's
identity
better than
crisis.
last year. Lately, it hasn't been great.
So, but I think he's trying to figure out he's dealing with two things. He's has PTSD from last year, where if he does something wrong, he thinks he's going to get pulled out of the game.
Okay.
And but he's getting over that, I think. And then he's also learned how to be a point guard. He's not a point guard, right? He's a guy that he wants to be a combo shooting like active guard, and he's just not big enough. Um, and but I just I don't know, I could go on and on, but I'll finish off on this point. I think I kind of agree with you about Boozer from the standpoint of not even teams figuring him out. He's just not his 3 point shot is sometimes hot and cold, but it's a pretty nice looking shot.
Hmm.
And he does kind of almost like a little bit of a step back. Like you have to worry about his drive, so he'll kind of take a step forward, come back. Um, but he's just not athletic. Like he's when you put him down the lane, if you get him against like a big guy or an athletic guy, he'll score. He's not going to only put up 2 points, whatever. But like he's crafty to some degree, but he's just not like a freak athlete or anything like that. So it's very much old school, trying to get around you. And I don't know if he's strong enough but he's not big enough. Like if he was 2 or 3 inches taller with his skill set, he'd be real hard to stop.
Hmm. Yeah. I am going to say, someone who doesn't have PTSD from last year, your boy TJ Power is balling out at Penn.
I like TJ Power. TJ
He
Power
he had
is
he had 19 and 13 yesterday against Rutgers. They lost by one, but they were right in that game.
yeah, he just needed confidence. They're all still really close. That freshman crew, like McCain and Foster. Um, I like TJ Power. Even what's his name isn't playing too bad for what teams? Where's he at? Oh, the other white kid, that transferred in conference. Um,
So, what other kid?
it was he didn't transfer to Virginia. He transferred to. I'll have to think about it now. Um, ACC.
I mean, Virginia's doing really
Let's
well this
see.
year
I know
too,
he
10
was
and
shooting
1.
the ball well. They are doing well. So let's pivot. While I look this up, let's pivot and look at um conferences. Because the big talk going into the year was whether or not the SEC would just kind of like be dominant again. Would it sort of destroy what's going on
Hmm.
here, or the rest of the league. And if you look at, I guess the simplest thing to look at now is the net rankings, and big. I mean, it's riddled with Big 12. It looks like. So you look at the top. I guess it's kind of. I mean, Big Ten's got a lot up there too.
Yeah,
You look at the top
Big
10. You
12 and
got
Big
Big Ten,
10. Yeah.
ACC. Yeah,
Yep.
but then you get, your first SEC team is Vandy actually,
Hmm.
which Vandy almost blew it. I bet really infrequently. Um,
Uh, looks like we have some technical difficulties. Dave exited the podcast, I think, or got kicked out. But yeah, I mean, looking at the, I guess, battle of the conferences, I think it's between the Big Ten and the Big 12. Um, Obviously, with the Big 12, you have Arizona and Iowa State, BYU doing really well, Houston with a good win against Arkansas yesterday. But then also the Big Ten, obviously with Michigan, Purdue, even though they got beat by Iowa State, still having a really great year. That's their only loss. Michigan State's only loss is to Duke. Um, and then you go down to Nebraska, who's had a really great year. Illinois, who's had some key wins against a team like a Tennessee, lost to UConn, but have really responded. And I think Kansas too, getting Darren Peterson back will also help them in their quests for both a higher ranking, a higher seed, and a you know better overall season. I think obviously Darren Peterson is the engine that makes that team run. Having him out for that hamstring injury cost them a couple of games, as we know. But with him back, obviously the re-injury is obviously tough. But I mean, when you have him in the lineup, I don't see why there's any reason why they're not a top 10 team in the country, possibly even a top 8 team. I just think he is that talented. I think the number one pick in the NBA draft is going to come down to him, AJ DeBonsa, and Cam Boozer. And I think we have him back. Oh, back.
I'm back. I'm back.
um,
Um,
I was just talking
yeah,
about how.
I'm on an old computer that had
Oh,
like
okay.
70% charged when we started and died.
Okay. uh, I was just filling in the viewers in your absence about how the argument between the Big 12 and the Big 10 is going to come down to obviously the number one seed line. And right now, according to the net, we'd have Iowa State and Arizona as a projected 1 seed, and then probably 2 seeds going to be BYU and Arizona, which a lot of people would take as the best conference overall. Now, would I have confidence in BYU as a 2 seed? I'm not sure, but again, it's really early for that. Um, but I think that's the big thing. But also, I think the strength of the Big Ten is just so strong with Michigan, even though Purdue lost to Iowa State, they're very strong. Michigan State's had a great year. Illinois had some good wins. Kansas with Darren Peterson, we know how talented he is. Um, and then Nebraska, obviously, with a great year too so far.
Yeah. Jaden Shoot. That's
Oh,
who the Duke
okay,
player was. He's at Virginia Tech.
okay, okay,
Playing much, yeah, scoring about 10, almost 11 points a game.
okay,
Um, from the 3-point line, shooting 45% from three.
okay.
Um, yeah, no, so I think my concern with BYU is okay. My concern with BYU is, I mean, they're winning games, but look at those like big games that they've had to come like back huge in. And that's gonna bite you at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you've
Yep.
got I haven't
Mm-hmm.
watched I don't know if I've watched a full game of theirs. Um, but I wonder if DeBantis is deferring too much because whenever they come back, it's very clear like just give me the ball, like and I'm
Right.
going.
Right.
And you wonder if he needs
Mm-hmm.
to be a little bit more aggressive in the beginning just to kind of because they've got a good team, they've got a good defense. Who's the team that they beat recently where they hit a three at the buzzer to win it?
Your fellow ACC neighbor Clemson
Oh yes, yeah. And
with
but
Rob Wright
Clemson's
hitting
not a
that buzzer
great
beater.
team, right? So to
Yeah.
like, yeah. So what happened to the BYU guy that got stopped for like for driving like under influence?
I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
He what's that here? Um, it was a guy that
I
was
didn't
gonna
even know about that.
play, but he was uh, it was probably like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Kennard
really?
Davis.
Huh.
Um, suspended for a DUI marijuana possession. I mean, he's got to be. I think he's a decent player. He's got to be kicked out
Really?
of school. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't have marijuana possession at BYU and not get like kicked out of school. I think like
Right. And Kevin Young doesn't stand for that kind of thing in his program. He's running an NBA program over there, so I can't imagine that
yeah.
kid has a future with him.
But yeah, so BYU. Oh, so I was mentioning I don't bet often, and it actually comes with a two part tier. But the other day I was like, I'll like toss a couple of dollars. I never bet more than like $2 or $3.
Hmm.
So I bet a few dollars that Vanderbilt was going
Okay.
to, or that Memphis would cover against Vanderbilt because it was
Okay.
at Memphis, and
Yeah.
I didn't think Vandy was as good as the record showing,
Hmm.
and so I bet that Memphis would be down by less than 7.5 and lose by less than like 11.
Okay.
I was like, okay, it's at Memphis. I think
Right.
it'll be all right. And easily cover, not easily cover, but they covered the first half. And
Hmm.
then that game goes to overtime. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, like this is like cake, like easy. And then like Memphis just plays absolutely terrible in overtime. And I think they won by like 9. So I still won the bet, but in
Right.
overtime was just absolutely awful.
Right.
Um, but I'm still not super
Sold
convinced
on
on Vandy.
Vanderbilt.
But
Okay.
then
That's
also
good.
I put a $2 bet down to win $100 that Iowa State would go undefeated in the regular season. Because
Okay.
I looked at it was a random thing that just like popped up on like the betting website.
Hmm.
And so I went and I looked at their schedule. And obviously, they have to play a couple difficult teams. It's
Right.
not I think I forget where they were going. I think they might have been going to like Michigan State.
Hmm.
Um, but it wasn't as like daunting as like you would think. It was like, all
Sure.
right, like you gotta like win a couple tough games. You're already
Hmm.
undefeated. So you've got kind of skimming through it. Illinois is an interesting one. Illinois is 11 and Ken Palm right now with 3 losses, but um, the metrics kind of play out pretty good. Let me get back to the net here. Illinois is 12 in the net. Kansas, Kansas is an interesting team.
If they
Uh,
have Darren Peterson, yeah.
yes, I mean, and they've played pretty well without Darren Peterson.
Hmm.
Um, Georgia. Georgia might be kind of the surprise team so far. The SEC, they haven't really beaten anybody, right? They're
Yeah.
7-0 in quad four, 3-0 in quad three, and they lost their one quad one game. So they might get exposed a little bit here. But
Yeah.
some of the teams that I think appeared a little bit dicey. So I guess going back real quick, so we got um, what in terms of SEC, ACC, you got one, two, three. It looks like 4 SEC teams in the top 20 and 3 ACC teams. Three ACC teams.
Hmm.
And then SEC kind of comes in strong. 4, 5. So I mean, SEC's got a good amount of teams in the top 30, but ACC as well has teams kind of hanging right there. ACC probably has 7 or 8 teams in the ACC in the
Hmm.
top 30, top
Yeah.
35. I mean, um, but there's some teams that I think we weren't quite sure about. Kind of going through the list here. Um, Obviously Nebraska's a surprise, but Kansas, North Carolina,
Hmm.
Arkansas, um, Florida, Kentucky. A couple
Has been a
teams that,
disappointment. Yeah.
yeah, but we also kind of it looked like the season might be a little bit shot,
Hmm.
and North
Yeah.
Carolina kind of weathered Seth Trimble being out,
Hmm.
and they're looking okay. Um, Kentucky got that win over St. John's, which St. John's hasn't been overly impressive, but
Hmm.
Kentucky just got back their big man, the
Yep.
transfer
Yep.
from Arizona State, and so Kentucky might kind of put things together. And Kentucky's
Hmm.
got so many opportunities for quad
Right.
ones in the SEC that's
Hmm.
kind of like you can fumble a little bit in
Out
conference
of
play or
conference.
like
Yeah.
out of conference play and be okay.
Hmm.
St. John's is like the opposite, right? Like St.
Yeah.
John's really didn't want to fumble because there's if you can't beat UConn,
Right.
it's kind of like what are you doing?
Right. Yeah. To me, they've been one of the most underwhelming, besides Kentucky, one of the most underwhelming teams
Yep,
this season. I mean, they were, what did they start the year? They started the year, I think, in the top 10 comfortably, right?
yep, yep.
And then they just, I mean, they don't play defense. And I think Rick
Ian
Pitino's
Jackson's
having,
been disappointing.
yeah, they've been having a really tough time just guarding the ball. And it's when they play tougher teams too. They've shown that they aren't quite on the level as some of these, other ranked teams. So I'm a little concerned about them. Them and Kentucky, I think, are my two biggest question marks. I'm interested to see, obviously, Kentucky heading into conference play. I mean, that was a much needed win for them
Yeah,
yesterday. I mean, that win could change the course of the whole season right there for them.
yep.
So I think that was huge. And then, um, yeah, St. John's, they're going to have to figure it out because I mean, you can't drop a lot in the Big East. Big East is probably the weakest conference this year. I'd put the ACC over the Big East right now in terms
Yeah,
of overall depth.
I think so.
So, not a lot of opportunity and mistake for them.
What do you think about NC State?
Your boy Will Wade.
Oh, so I was gonna go. Let me go off on a slight tangent here. I meant to go off on one right before the Duke game because you mentioned Todd Golden and I cringed. Um, God, I hate Todd Golden. Um,
If
and
I put Will Wade, Todd Golden, and Danny Hurley in a room all together, who would you talk to first?
um, Dan Hurley
Okay.
because he's a jerk, but I think I just think he's a jerk, right? Like Will Wade, I think is slimy and will lie to you. Um,
Okay.
Todd Golden just seemed like such. I've watched him in 2 games now. Just seemed like such a baby. Like Dan Hurley is going to scream at the refs if they're up by like 50.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of who he is.
Hmm.
And so like I would never want to like have lunch with him, but at least he's just who he is.
Yeah. He embraces it.
Yeah. But so I thought I was gonna go off on who's was it Grant who's Texas Tech coach Grant
Grant
McCall.
McCaslin.
Yeah. Um he would get emotional in the Duke game. Um
I like him. I like him. You can't
he
go
was
off
very
on him.
he was very level headed. Like he would
Yes.
like if there's a call that he didn't like, you could see him express it, but he didn't belabor the
Hmm.
fact.
Yep.
He went back to coaching his guys and getting like focused on like let's do what's next. When
Right.
Duke played Florida, Malik Brown got a flagrant on him, which I actually I disagreed with. I thought when you looked at the video, Malik had one hand on the ball, and he ended up elbowing the guy in the face, but he had one
Hmm.
hand on the ball, and the guy pulled forward, and because
Hmm.
Malik only had one hand going forward, he kind of just ended up going into the guy and hit him in the head. And I understand, like, if you want to call flagrant anytime someone gets hit in the head, fine. Um, but I didn't think it was a flagrant. And so after they called it, Todd Golden kept like whining about it, saying it was a flagrant too, and you got to kick him out. I was like, dude, it wasn't a flagrant to begin with, and you got lucky to call it a flagrant, and now you're still whining to kick the guy out of the game. Like he was too much for me. I also don't think it's that good of a coach. I think Dan Hurley's a good coach.
You don't think the
I
national championship
Yeah,
coach is
yeah, I
okay?
don't think he's a good coach.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I've listen. I've had plenty. I lost. I lost uh, a city championship in cross country coaching against my wife, writing the workouts for her team. So like, tell me, my wife is not a better cross country coach than I am. Like sometimes you just have good athletes,
Oh man,
you
funny how
know.
life works, huh?
Like so it's you don't have to be a good coach to have a good team.
Okay, that's fair. Now, you asked me what I think about Will Wade. Um, Not many
I know.
coaches have been questioning.
I asked about NC State.
Oh, NC
Uh,
State. Okay, well,
Will Wade is slime.
I'm going to talk about Will Wade here because not many coaches are questioning their team's toughness after a 36-point win.
He
Um,
certainly didn't question their intelligence. He let us know that they
yeah,
were intelligent.
because they're running a daycare. He don't care about the GPA. He said, "We're running a daycare." Um, I think today's game versus Ole Miss is going to be very interesting because one, he is not happy with his team, but also Chris Beard is not happy with his team
Mhm.
because a couple weeks ago, after an Ole Miss game, a reporter was interviewing him and AJ Storr, and the reporter asked how they could control effort, and AJ Storr was kind of like, "Oh, there's nothing you can do about it." And Chris Beard jumped in and said they were going to fix it. So I think tempers will be high. NC State, they're ranking, and then they lose to Seton Hall. They lose to Texas. A lot of people are, questioning it. Is this a legit team? I think a win versus Ole Miss, who has been struggling a little too this year, will help. But I'm looking ahead in 2 weeks when they have Virginia in their second conference game. Now, 10 days they have Wake Forest. Obviously, Steve Forbes is a great coach. That's not going to be an easy game either. But if they can go 3-0 these next 3 games against Ole Miss, Wake Forest, and Virginia, I think we're going to be talking about them just a little bit more because they have good players, regardless of whether Will Wade's slimy or not. They have decent players. They just I wonder if there's a little disconnect there between Will Wade's brashness and the player's attitude right now.
Well, listen, in in 2025, everyone's allowed to cheat now because you can pay people money.
Uh,
Once everyone is allowed to cheat, the
Will
guys that
Wade
were
can't do
cheating
any.
aren't as good anymore.
Uh,
I think I think if I'm an NC State fan, I'm disappointed.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, like their their
They have
good
something to
win.
prove.
What's their good win? Uh, Boise State.
Who lost, I think, to a D2 team at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I mean, like they like. I mean, I guess you hang your hat on the fact that you lost to Kansas by one,
Will Wade
but
doesn't.
I mean they lost to Seton Hall, they lost to Texas, they lost to Auburn, and again, I just don't think Auburn's very good. Um,
I don't think so either. No, and that's the thing. That's why these next three games are so important. To
that's why who blew out Auburn yesterday? Um,
wasn't it 2 weeks ago? Arizona blew out Auburn.
somebody blew them out yesterday.
Oh, really?
Um, look it up. My computer's too slow to look it up.
Purdue yesterday.
Purdue beat them by
Right.
about 20.
Yeah, 28.
And
Yep.
what's the guy? Um,
Pettiford.
Pettiford. Yep. He just man, like if there's a definition for ball hog, like that's put his face there.
But
Um, he just wants to score.
as a
Um,
coach, it's someone like him is your worst nightmare. But then you realize that you don't have anybody else to shoot those shots. So as a player, you're like, wow, this is the greatest scenario ever.
okay, and then also, does that team respect? Is it Steven? Is that
Yeah,
yeah? Do they respect Stephen Pearl?
right. I just don't think they're like I just don't think they're that good.
Yeah,
I think they were ranked because they made it to the Final Four, and
yeah.
sure they've hung around with a couple teams, like they hung around with Houston, and then they've beat a couple teams, but the last couple games they have not really been instilling a lot of confidence
Yeah.
in the college basketball world. But on the other side of that, I mean, there's still where are they in the net? I mean, they're 35, lower than a couple ACC teams like NC State and Miami, that are closer down to them. Could they be a lot better? Yeah, but I mean they're 8-3, and they've played some tough teams.
So I mean,
But
listen, they're 35 with where does this go? Oh no, wait, I'm off. I'm off on a tangent here. Wait, okay,
I mean
go
they're
ahead.
1-3 in quad one and 5-0 in quad four. I get it, but also it's Auburn, so of course they're gonna
I was about to go off on a Will Wade tangent.
why? Because NC State is
So NC State's 32, right?
yeah
1-1 in quad two
quad
games.
4-0 in quad
Meanwhile,
four.
McNeese is 45th, 3-0 in quad two, right? They do have a loss in quad three. Like, I mean, NC State isn't valued that much higher than McNeese is right now.
Yeah.
And NC State got rid of it's probably all downhill
The
because
manager,
McNeese brought back the manager. Yeah,
What is it? Amir Khan, right? He's
yeah.
back.
What do you think about? Because this is probably an important topic that we've kind of very briefly kind of covered. Um, I guess it's two separate questions, right? Who's the best freshman right now, and who's going to be the number one pick?
Oh, that's tough. Uh, so with Darren Peterson being out, I don't think he's the number one pick.
Okay,
Um, Now he is super talented. Not to say like he's going to be at least a top three pick, but I think I mean maybe not, but I think he's talented. I'm gonna say, sorry, I'm going AJ Devonsa as the best freshman, right? I understand what Boozer has done. And I understand, obviously like that 35 points against Arkansas, yada yada yada. Um, but I think in terms of, and you may not like this, pure like a pure level scorer, I'm going with AJ DeBonsa because his second half against UConn was phenomenal, and then that second half against Clemson was like I can't see Cam Boozer doing that all in one half. Cam Boozer can do that, dominate over the course of a game, but I think anytime you need your switch to be flipped, the ball's going to AJ DeBonsa's hands. I don't think he's shy to take those shots either.
What's a Cam Boozer NBA comparison? Because it feels like Cam Boozer is going to play in the league for like 10 or 15 years, right?
Oh yeah,
But
he's gonna have a really long career. Um, a lot of people have compared him to actually like another Paulo Banchero, but a little smaller.
I feel like maybe not quite as fast,
Yeah,
right?
not quite as
Yeah,
fast, less strength, but like kind of that guy who's it's a mix of like a Paulo Banchero, like a Al Horford,
okay,
even um a better defender than like a Julius Randle type.
uh huh,
Like one of those guys. Like gonna be really good. Like is gonna have a super long career. Not one of those guys that is in the like Anthony Edwards or you know LeBron, Luca category,
yeah.
but one of those guys that's going to have a really long career because they're athletic, they're smart, they can score, they're better defenders. Like he's a better defender than Julius Randle. He's a better defender than Paulo. So that two level, offense defense parameter goes into it too.
See, about a month ago, how many points Grayson Allen had?
I I, I don't
He
want to talk
dropped,
about
he
Grayson Allen.
dropped like 45 or something like that.
He's washed.
No, the opposite.
He's washed.
He's got gray hair and he's still
He's washed.
um so uh do you think if Peterson doesn't come back,
Hmm.
um and I think he will, right?
Hmm.
Like you almost think that him coming out of that game the other day was very precautionary. Let's not pull this again.
Hmm.
Let's kind of wait and get back for conference play.
Hmm.
But if he doesn't come back, does Caleb Wilson go? Because I feel like Caleb Wilson, because obviously Boozer's a much different player than those other three.
Hmm.
And I think Caleb Wilson, while he hasn't impressed me, he's impressed me.
Hmm.
Not as much as DeBantis or as much as I think Peterson would have.
Hmm.
But Wilson has been very explosive from like a dunking standpoint.
Yeah.
Like he's been very like, give me the ball, I'm going straight to the hole.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, uh, so here's my ranking right now. I think AJ DeBonsa and Cam Boozer are really close in terms of number one pick.
Mhm.
But right now I'm giving it to DeBonsa. Two would be Boozer. Three would be Caleb Wilson. But I mean those three guys are really close in my opinion. And then my fourth is Darius Acuff from Arkansas. He's been playing really well.
Yeah.
I think Peterson, right now is out of that top four, possibly even top five, because, you have guys like, Hans Steinbach and Kingston Flemings and Michael Brown that, like, they're just playing and they're playing really well.
Hmm.
And so I think, obviously Darren Peterson is going to be really good, but I also think that, you got to figure out that hamstring
This is
because,
I was going to say, this is a super deep class.
yeah, it's really deep. And I wonder, is it deeper than last year's class?
I think so. I mean, you look at well as who's the freshman from Arizona,
Burries, yeah.
um, and then who's the freshman from Miami? Scooter, is it Scooter?
Oh yeah, yeah. I know who you're talking about,
Um,
but I don't remember
'Cause
his name.
he's
But
been playing well. He almost
yep,
went to Duke. He was about to get committed to Duke, and he left
with
when
Jai.
Jay Lucas went to Miami.
Yep.
Um, there's some I saw some rumors which I don't think are true. I saw some rumors floating around that because Duke is about to pick up another commitment. I think today, potentially pick up a commitment today from a 5-star guy to play point guard. Um, and some rumors swirling around that after Cam goes pro after this year, that Caden might transfer to Miami since the Boozers were kind of like back and forth between Duke and Miami. Um,
Hmm.
which I don't think would happen, but I wouldn't necessarily blame him. I think um, I don't really know what the best option for Duke is between Caden and Foster because I think they're sort of different point guards.
Hmm.
But I mean, so you have that guy from Miami, and then a huge freshman class, and then not just mention like the non-freshmen. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
a good solid
Hmm.
crew this year.
Yep. And even Nate
Um,
Ament from Tennessee and Yesufu from Baylor and
that's it, right? Nate Emmett,
yeah,
he was almost at Duke as well. Um, and I think that's another guy that like hasn't been tearing it up,
yeah.
but similar to Sar,
Hmm. Yep. Even Dame Sar
both of
too.
those
Yeah.
guys could go like top 20 off
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
potential,
Hmm.
right? Not to say what they've done this year, but just the fact
Yeah.
that you've seen their Dame Sar, I think will leave, which I'm hoping he doesn't, but I think he might
Oh, he
leave.
will. I think he's projected a top 15 pick. There's no
Yeah,
reason
because
for him to.
so he's different than Ament, right? Because Dame Sar is playing in Europe. You can like look at that tape, right?
Right.
Like Ament, like playing against high school guys, that doesn't always tell you the story. But
Right.
Sar played against
Right.
guys that
Yeah. And that's where I think is teams are going to be more likely to take a chance on him is because I think his game will be better in the NBA than it is in college
yeah
because he can be that slasher, that, transition guy that runs and,
yeah
doesn't have so much, I guess, doesn't have so much of a system around.
yeah.
Like I know
No,
that obviously they have system overseas, but I mean you're it's the program is different from college, and I
yeah
think he's so adjusted to the pro game that it's obviously a challenge, scaling
yeah
down. So I think that's why teams will be more inclined to take a chance because he's just had that experience already.
yeah. It's way more the pros is such more open.
Hmm.
You can there's so much more room to just kind of play.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, all right. Anything else for us to kind of run through here?
I
Skimming
don't
through
think so.
the net, see if anything else kind of pops out at me. So I mean, we got conference play coming up. For most teams, kind of right around beginning of January. Most teams will pop into it.
Hmm.
Um, I think, yeah, nothing that really kind of pops out here. I'm trying to see if you got any like sort of really disappointing teams. I guess. Yeah, I guess you skim down into uh, into the 200s in the net. Um, I guess Fordham's always been pretty bad. I'm trying to see if there's any kind of like big name teams that are just awful.
I don't think so.
St. John, yeah, eight ten's not great, but they haven't been in a while, or at least the bottom of the A10. Yeah, LaSalle. I wonder who the. All right, now I'm gonna go through and
Figure out who the
scroll.
worst net team
Worst,
is.
yeah, worst Power Five team. Oh, that's actually surprising. Okay, this might be 100% accurate, but guess you gotta guess who the worst Power Five team is based off net.
Well, what conference is it? Tell me what conference it is.
It's ACC,
Oh, I mean, come on, it's got to be Boston College.
not Boston College.
Seriously, there's a worse
Uh,
team than Boston College.
Boston College is 185, and this team's
Is it
189.
Cal? Is it Cal?
No, Cal's kind of up there a little bit, I
Oh,
think, because
really?
Cal is they haven't played anybody, but they haven't really lost much.
Let's see. Who else could it be? It's got to be
It's a
a really.
team that you. So actually, I'm not even really sure why this team is this low because they're 7-4, but they do have okay. So they do have three quad three losses.
It's horrible. Is it Stanford?
Nope, Stanford's decent. Stanford's up there a
Oh,
little bit
really?
too. Oh, I take that back.
Um.
Okay, I did find a lower team, but okay, good.
Oh, really?
It's a
Who
team
could it?
that you
Who could
that
it be?
traditionally is not bad.
Is it Wake Forest?
Nope,
Who is it? Who is it?
Georgia Tech.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I should have guessed. They're always in there. Who's the lower team?
Actually though I on look there's a lower team from the Big Ten.
Yeah, from a Big Ten.
Yep, 196.
That's horrible. How are you a Big Ten team at 196 in the net?
This team 5-6.
Is it
Uh,
Minnesota? It's got to be like Minnesota or something.
no, 5-6. They've only won quad four games, and they've actually lost a quad four game.
Big Ten. Well, like, is it a team that I would know?
Oh, it's a team you know. It's a team that was bad last. Is it so? A hint. It's a team that was bad last year that shouldn't have been bad last year.
Big Ten teams.
They were very disappointing last year, and people had high hopes for them. Didn't make the
Oh,
tournament.
is it like Penn State? It's got to be. Is it
Nope.
Penn State? Washington?
Nope.
What?
They
That
had
had,
they had two really good players last year.
had high hopes for.
Yep, two really good players.
Six. It's Rutgers,
Yeah, it's Rutgers.
who
Yeah,
just beat Penn yesterday.
yeah. That's gotta be the lowest one. I don't think there's anybody in the
I
in two.
mean, man, that's brutal.
That'd be terrible.
That's brutal.
Um. All right, so I guess we'll come back and we'll do some other prediction stuff. I was gonna say usually we kind of predict games, but there's not much going on over the next week. Um, most people are kind of on a short little break here. I mean, I think you only have a couple games today.
Give me
I think
Will
you have a
Wade
couple games
today.
today.
Give me Will Wade today.
Okay, what about probably the most interesting game of the day? I would say is well, I guess Ole Miss and NC State, but then Wake and Vandy.
Mhm.
I wonder what that game is. If that's in North Carolina, I'd lean towards that's North Carolina. I think Wake wins that.
Um,
Okay, now I feel like UConn has played a lot of their games at home. Every time I like look, it seems like they're playing at home. UConn DePaul.
no,
I don't
no,
think
no,
UConn
no,
loses.
no, no, no,
Do you think
no,
they win by more than
no.
10?
Yes, they win. It's DePaul. They suck.
I, uh, oh, we get Oregon Gonzaga in Oregon. Now Oregon's not very good this year, but Gonzaga on the road.
Give me NC State, Wake Forest. I mean, no, not Wake Forest. Vanderbilt, Gonzaga, UConn by like at least 20.
We have the exact opposite picks. I think I say give me well, no, give me Gonzaga. Right? I'd say give me Gonzaga. Give me DePaul. I don't know. Oh, UConn is favored by 14.5. So give me DePaul to cover. Um, give me Gonzaga. Um, give me uh Wake Forest to just win outright, and give me uh I'll
Give me
take
NC State. Take NC
I'll take
State. Take
well where's that game at? Is that in North
it's at
Carolina?
NC State, I think.
Well, NC State
Listen,
sucks, and so that they're not gonna
Will
have any
Wade's
fans
players
there.
are not gonna come out. They're gonna come out hungry. He just questioned their toughness. All the national TV knows about their program's problems.
Yeah, Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss.
You really don't like Will Wade. Oh man.
Clemson, Cincinnati.
Yeah, that could either be really bad or a decent game. It's not gonna be
Yeah.
good, but it could be decent.
Um, Penn State and Pitt. The Pitt sucks. They need that. It is terrible. Pitt just lost to somebody relatively recently that um they should not have lost to. Let's see here. I'll
Yeah,
finish the podcast on a Pitt hate. Pitt lost to Hofstra.
so did
They got
Syracuse.
smoked by they got smoked by Villanova. Oh yeah, Hofstra, the ACC killers, huh?
Yeah.
Um, they actually did beat Ohio State. Um, they lost to Quinnipiac. Well, Quinnipiac's killing people too. Uh, yeah, they got destroyed by West Virginia. Pitt's best. So Pitt's best win is Ohio State, but their second best win is
Yeah.
I don't know, Eastern Michigan maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Pitt's there. Jeff Capel. Jeff Capel may not be coaching college basketball next year.
Yeah, he will be. He'll be back on the Duke sideline. Who are you kidding?
Yeah, yes, he will. Uh, all right. Well, that's good overview for the start of the season. Um, and we'll have to pick things up. We'll see maybe a couple games into conference. That'll be a good point to kind of see where everything is kind of shaping up. Maybe 3 or 4 games into conference.
Okay.
Um, maybe after like a Duke Louisville game or something.
That's a big game. You sure you wanna leave that up to chance?
I you know what's what's their coach's name again?
Pat Kelsey?
I can't stand Pat Kelsey either. God, I hate Pat Kelsey. You ever watch? What do you think about John Shire? You ever watch John Shire on the sideline? Very composed,
He argues
right? Like
too. He argues too.
not as much as not John. If I was not a Duke fan, I feel like I would not. Do you think people hate John Shire?
Think so, no.
I don't think so. I think the only people that hate John Shire are people that call him like a nepo baby, and they're like, "Oh, like Coach K like loved you, and so you're basically his son. And that's why you got the job." Like, I think John Shire is very like universally like well liked. But I think that also goes back to the Duke image. Do you ever see the 30 for 30 about the Fab Five, where
Yeah.
Jalen Rose calls Grant Hill Uncle Tom?
Yeah.
I think there's just there's always been that belief about the Duke program, right? Like these are the rich kids from the right side of town who got to like but now everyone goes to a prep school, right?
Hmm.
Like any guy that's in the top 50 goes to like an all boy prep school that
Right.
plays basketball. Like, it's no one's Sebastian Telfair anymore. Where like I honed my skills. Like everyone's like, oh, Rucker Park. None of these guys
Hmm.
play at Rucker Park.
Right.
Like these guys, like if these guys went to Rucker Park, they get shot. Like,
Right. Yeah. I mean,
especially NIL now. Like if Cooper Flag went to, well, I guess Cooper Flag did go to Rucker Park once, I think. But if Cooper Flag played continuously at Rucker Park, he would get robbed for like the diamond chain he had that he bought with like his NIL money.
oh man.
So, like not like me. I grew up honing my skills at Fort like on the basketball courts of Forest Park.
Okay.
Right, that's where I learned how to play basketball.
Mm. Cooper Flag learned the air conditioned gym in the summer and the heated gym in the winter of Maine.
Yeah, and that's why he struggles sometimes. Jimmer Fredette learned in the prison yard.
I mean, Jimmer Fredette. You want to talk about a straight baller? That was Jimmer
Yeah.
Fredette.
Con Knipple learned, and
Oh,
this makes sense.
oh,
Con
don't get me
Knipple,
started about Con Knivel. I can't compliment him enough.
that's because you are Con Knipple. You're a less skilled Con Knipple.
I'm a way less skilled Con Knivel.
Con Knipple learned how to play basketball at his dad hosts a like men's basketball league, and so when he was 13, he was that's why he's like so crafty under the hoop and just pump fakes a million times because he didn't pump fake, he was gonna get blocked.
My kids will grow up watching Con Knipple highlights.
Knippel's been now. Flag is closing the gap a little bit in the Flag's going to get the rookie of the year because of the name.
I hope not. I hope it's Con Knipple.
Now,
Because
how much do you think Knippel hates being teammates with LaMelo Ball? Or is it
I
yeah,
don't
like Knippel must hate him.
I don't even think he cares anymore. He's the number one guy. I
But I
just
think they must just be such different people.
100%. Are you kidding?
Like Knippel, if you're do you ever see Remember the Titans?
No, but I
You
feel like I'm gonna know what you're talking about.
you've never seen Remember the Titans?
No, but I feel like I know
You
what
would
you're
love
gonna.
that movie.
I feel like
Um,
I know what you're gonna be talking about.
it's the I forget, is it Ryan? It's like a famous actor, and he's like one that he's a super skinny white guy, and he's one of the first one that like starts hanging out with the black guys,
Hmm.
and he gets like super into like the country music, and I feel like that's Concanippa. Like Concanippa's like, yeah, like have you guys heard like this Kenny Chesney album that just came out? Like, whew, it's a toe tapper.
I mean, listen, he and Sion James are killing it.
Sion, the fact that Sion James is not even in the NBA, but gets like over 10 minutes a game in the NBA
Over 10.
is,
He gets over like 20 a night.
yeah, it's crazy, right? Like there's no way. And I think part of that was, I would say the Duke brand, but he doesn't get drafted nearly as high without playing for Duke.
Oh yeah, no. No, I need to order myself a Con Knipple jersey. Because
Um,
Con Knipple highlights feed families. That's what I'm going to leave you with, people with on the podcast.
yeah, yeah. Watch some Colin Knippel, learn fundamentals, um, and I'm gonna leave off of one thing. Make sure you're in agreement with me. When I watch little kid basketball,
Oh boy.
in the all the coaches on all teams, not just like the ones that my sons play for, they they all push for them to grab the ball to basically tie it up, and I think that is terrible coaching because when you get older, you're no one like you're not constantly tying the ball up, right? Like you have to play like actual deep because these kids are so bad at dribbling that of course you can tie anybody up, right? Like
Right.
you're not teaching them fundamentals to be like, oh, just grab the ball, and then every time. And I also think it's unfair. I think it's bad development where a lot of coaches will um they'll have the kids pick them up at right at half court because they're not allowed to play like full court defense. So as
Mhm.
soon as the other team comes over half court, they trap them,
Mm.
and you get steal their time because
Yeah.
like a 9-year-old can't dribble out of the trap.
Sure.
And sure, it helps you you score points, but
Yeah.
I think it's just bad coaching because I think it's not only your duty to allow your kids to develop, but it's your duty to allow the other team to develop.
Yeah.
And if you're trapping a kid that can't dribble the basketball, like I think you're doing a disservice to allowing the kids to learn how to like space the floor and do a like I just don't think you're like it's helping these kids who like this isn't the AAU circuit where these kids are all
Right.
really good. Like you're
Right.
not allowing these kids to learn how to play basketball.
Right. Yeah. I'll agree with you there. I agree with you.
So that's my rant. That's something I've
I agree with you.
noticed the past couple of years.
I agree with you.
You know, it's every you'll see when you start coaching, right? Like on your own team, everyone
Oh, no,
preaches.
listen, I don't have I can only coach high school and up. I have figured that out really early that
But even in high school, everyone preaches. It's not high school is a little bit different, but everyone loves to throw around. It's it's not all about winning, right? It's about like skill development and but like 2 games into the season, let me tell you, I've seen all those coaches tell me it's not about winning. Like it sure seems like it's a lot about winning when
uh, I mean, hey, you're not wrong. I'm just gonna say that because you know what, winning pays your salary at the end of the day. So
it does.
you
All
don't
right.
win,
Well,
you get the sack. So
yeah. And how do you win games? You put people like Colin Knippel in.
Put them in the right position,
Yep.
put the right players in, and
Yep.
don't have to worry about anything else.
All right. We'll wrap it up on that. So until next time, that's a wrap.